My name's Andy, and this is Andy Vasily. And this is a session that we've been planning for about 6 months. We're pretty excited. This is the first time that Andy and I have been together live. A little bit of background before we give you a bit of a ground story. I'm from Legal Operations Department in Geelong. This is my 20th year teaching PE. This is my 5th time being a director of conference here. This year for myself has been a massive year. Maybe not as massive as this guy here, but I've been to Seattle, been over there, and then Tasmania, where I was going to speak down there as well. So it's really cool though. This is the one that I'm super excited to always come back to. This is the one that is in my neighbourhood, and we can make a great reflection, but also build connections. And I know from last year's actual conference, having a lot of people drop in and come and see the daily, but this year the whole conference has been huge. So that's a little bit about me. Now, this guy here you heard from this morning, and we met face to face, online last year at a challenge put up by a guy called Kevin Tiller. And it was based on what the line of big hurdles, and Kevin would do a bit of a challenge and go, can anyone else do that? So some people would do it, do it online, and people would do the chat. Well, I threw a basketball off the wall and over the top of it into the ring. And then this guy comes on and goes, well, you bounced a golf ball on a golf club 10 times. I'm like, I think you got up to about 200 before you press stop on the button. We met in person yesterday. So through social media.
I've known him forever.
Yeah.
How it feels.
And we've been working intensely since April and May together on quite a few different projects. And this one became really, really accessible when Andy accepted the role of keynote speaker. So I got a really fun into the role. We're going to do this together. This will be the time that we can connect. So yeah, literally last night I shared a bed. Share a bedroom. That's how close we are. So we shared a bedroom together down in Melbourne, and we went for a run around the city and all of that. And that real connection, but also I guess the piggybacking on the work that we've done for a long time, felt like we'd actually been best mates and been working together for the last year and a half. So Andy, I know that's a long intro, but...
No problem. So I'm Andy. I've been outside of Canada. I left Canada in 1996 with my wife, and we moved to Japan for what was going to be 6 months only. That ended up being 10 years. Having kids there, the whole bit. So then we moved on to Eastern Europe, and we moved on to Cambodia, and we're in our 5th year right now in China. So we've been gone now for 18 years in Canada, and our friends have stopped asking us, when are you going back to Canada to teach? I don't think we're ever going back now. The international teaching life is great. So if any of you are considering it or have done it, this man right here is from our hometown together, right? Windsor, Ontario. Oh, sorry, Windsor, Ontario. So again, an example of him coming to Australia. And the international teaching life really is great. So if you ever think about it, you should really investigate it and give it a shot. So today we're going to share some practical activities to show how we unpack essential student learning outcomes, as well as the concepts that we teach in our classes. So we are going to start right away with an activity. So the first thing that you have to do right now is you have to find a partner and just lock arms with your partner. So when we see that everybody's locked arms with somebody, we know that we're ready to go. And then I'll tell you the task, okay? You got 30 seconds to go. I'm not even one solid. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to ask us to move inside the rectangle.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll drag it.
Okay, so I need a volunteer. I want to be a blindfold, so I rely on just trusting me to keep your
eyes closed. So I need to volunteer to learn. Okay, so you're going to close your eyes. Sure that you don't bang into anyone you see. Okay? Very good. So decide who is partner A and who is partner B right now. Okay, just have a quick look at the screen right now, because as you go through these activities, you are focusing on this question, just thinking about it in the back of your mind. As in order to be successful in these games, what must you be able to show and do? Okay? So just in the back of your mind, just thinking about it as we go through the activities. So partner A up, right? Steady. Eyes closed. Go. Okay, stop. Switch. Ready, steady, go.
Can you tell who's on there?
That makes me nervous, that sun.
And stop. Going to have just a quick conversation about the key question, which is driving this learning experience. So again, in order to be successful in these games, what must you be able to show and do? Just a quick conversation right now before we take it to the next level. Okay, go.
Wait till you see what's happening next.
So, whole idea of like leader and the follower. So, the leaders lead from behind.
Okay, stop. So right now, again, this is you're experiencing what the students would experience. So the one strategy that I use is I will get them to share their answers right now and write them down without judging whether or not they're right or wrong. So I'll be writing them down in my journal. So what are some things they might say? Trust. Communication. Cooperation. Spatial awareness.
Teamwork.
Teamwork. Confidence. Honesty. Control. Okay? You just fired those out. The students would fire them out at the same speed because they can answer these questions. So that's the first level of the game. It would take no more than 2 minutes to have the conversation and quickly write down some answers. We're not having a discussion about the answers. We're just brainstorming ideas. Next level of the game. I need a volunteer. Thank you, sir. Great, thank you. Same idea, but watch my hands now. Okay, you ready? Okay, go. Stop. Okay, so now you've got to work together with the other navigators. There's no talking, you're making eye contact, and you are trying to create a safe swap. Every time you can successfully swap without being caught, you get a point. But if you're being led and you can feel the change, you just call it out and you get a point. Okay, so you have to secretly swap. Okay, ready? Go. And stop. Ready, steady, go.
Swap.
And stop. Okay, next level. You are still thinking about the big question, which is what must we be able to know and do in these activities? Hands off. We will extend the boundaries. That's fine. You don't have to stay inside the red. So the only time I put my hands on him is if he is in danger to stop me. Otherwise, he will just listen to me. Okay, you ready? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, great. Go, go, go. A little slower, slower, slower. Slow.
On back to baby like me.
Wait, stop. Wait. And stop. So have a quick discussion about your communication right now. And then when I say go, we will begin.
Straight. Go to the left slightly. Go straight through there. Yeah. Straight. You're right a bit.
Front.
Hey, stop! Switch now! Switch! Ready, go! And stop! Hey, what do you think? Okay, so now you're going to do one of my favorite things in the history of the world. It's the walk and talk. So I never give my kids sitting down. I will pose a question like this. We'll do a series of activities, and then they will do a walk and talk to discuss their answers. So with your partner, you're just going to do a few laps around the gym, talking about the question, and coming up with more potential answers. Okay? The question. So what must you be able to, in order to be successful in these games, what must you be able to show and do? Okay? I'll listen, call you back and share more answers. So,
That sort of.
So these partner challenges, cooperative activities, you can use anything. This could be happening over one class or two classes. But the idea is that it's at the beginning of the unit, and we're getting the students to do the heavy lifting in regards to identifying important student learning outcomes. So that's the direction that we're going. I can sit as a teacher and say, okay, in the Adventure Challenge unit, students, you must be able to do this, 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 and this. But I'm not going to do that. I will create learning situations and ask key questions that will get the students to do the unpacking and to identify what those outcomes are. So you've already gotten a glimpse into this. Another strategy that I will use potentially right now, you will have done your walking talk. I'll have sticky notes up, then you'll just go write your ideas and post them up on the wall. That might be at the end of class, halfway through the class, whatever, and I capture a picture of it, and then I put it in my journal. Because again, I can write the answers down like I showed you before, or I'll get students to just use sticky notes. So we've already talked about some of the big ideas, but what would be more ideas that they might come up with? We covered trust, communication, spatial awareness, respect and listening, okay? Safety, responsibility, confidence, take risks, following instructions. So I would be writing all those ideas down. Okay. So moving out with the second class, come to the third class. I have a visual up with all those big ideas up. So the students have identified, we've all agreed that those are important ideas. And the students will tell you, yes, teamwork is important, teamwork is important. Yet just saying that is not enough. We need to unpack what teamwork actually looks like. So now you're going to do the next step. Okay? So I'm going to ask you, again, you would have a blindfold on, but in this case, you will just close your eyes. So this rectangle, the big red rectangle, I'm going to ask everybody to spread out around the rectangle and go down and do that first. Okay, now I'm going to need about 8 or 10 volunteers to be observers. So if you want to be an observer, you're going to watch what happens, make observations, and give feedback to the group after. So if you want to be an observer, just stand up and come on, just step outside the rectangle. Okay. This is where it gets kind of crazy. Mr. Hare. So you cannot, for the rest of this activity, you cannot open your eyes. You cannot scan. Imagine you're blindfolded. Okay? You've got to crawl into the center, find the rope, untangle the rope, and form a square.
Is it gonna work?
I will tell you this much.
Gotcha.
I never come across the streets not being able to do it. But I had to let it go for up to 25 minutes. 25 to 30 minutes. And I do so for a reason, because I want to create tension. I want to create conflict. I want to create situations where the students struggle to do this, because they said they understand what those big ideas are. But this is an assessment to assess whether or not they really, truly understand the importance of those big ideas. So when the group, now for the sake of time, I'm not going to let it go on and on and on. I'm going to put a timer on, and you're going to have 10 minutes only to get the job done. When the group feels as though that you have made a square, and you say, Mr. Andy, you've done it, chances are it's not going to be a square. I promise you, there won't be a square. At that point, I will have one person stand up and give verbal cues to the group to help them complete the task, so everybody else's eyes will still be closed. So when I say go, eyes are closed, you have to find the rope, untangle it, and form a square. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, yeah? Yes or no? Okay, eyes closed. You can never stand up. You ready? Ready, steady, go.
Lost that a lot.
Oh, the rope's over here. Right. Follow my voice, the rope's here. Over here. Yeah.
So if you notice, the dude that found the rope didn't tell everybody he found the rope. They had no idea. Communication, they said they understood communication, but now I'm calling it into question right away.
I found it too.
9 minutes, 17 seconds.
I've got an end. Keep doing it. You need to start pulling.
I'm pulling out.
Okay, I've got. Yeah, I had the other end, and I'm trying to untangle, but people are pulling through. Yeah, so let's try and work together. Yep, I'm trying to pull it towards you. I think we need to pull it through. Wait, hold on. It needs to go through here. Alright, now, yeah, I've got it. Yeah, there we go.
8 minutes, 9 seconds.
Yeah.
So we just couple of
This feels like
Bigger, right?
that one there. Is this one coming to go? I don't know.
Right there.
Alright, yeah. Have you got the ends? Is that you? Okay. So where's the end? Yeah.
Two people working on it.
Alright.
The guy that just sat there. Battery stayed off. I lost satellite reception. Even my watch is giving up.
Oh, actually,
Okay,
6 minutes, 41 seconds. Tension. Tension. Disengagement. But that's okay.
Oh no, someone's calling out Rebecca. I've got one in.
Job, Rebecca.
Oh my god. Putting character.
Now, here, this is the other end, and this is the length of rope that has no knots in it from that end.
Are we getting instructions?
I've got an end, which is, I'm pulling towards the end.
Yeah, like the outcome was sorry, not leave to get it in a straight line of being like how far we can get it.
5 minutes, 17 seconds.
Serious tension.
Yeah.
I've got the other end here.
Yeah.
And
One
I-
needs to be threaded and one
and
needs
this
to
rope,
be
this rope that I'm is all untangled.
Is it untangled?
So I'm going to my end is not tangled until I get to this point.
How many people have got rope?
No one.
Two people. I need two people.
Yeah, no, if anything to hold the rope.
Has anyone got a big knot? Has anyone got a big chunk? Is there a big chunk with the
Hang on,
knot?
I'm just pulling a whole lot back to the end again.
Yeah, we're
4 minutes, 49 seconds.
Okay.
Is there one big chunk of
Yeah, this is the chunk.
Can we grab a bit of the knotted bit and pull it out? Can a few of us? Or not? No one gets a knot?
Okay.
Yep, you got it.
I've got one untangled.
Alright, then you can thread it that end. That's on the next one.
Where's the knot that needs untangled?
There's not
The other end is on here. So this here, that's here where I'm holding. And then I'm under my arm here, I'm waving it. Where am I?
Is it this?
At least these guys are still closing their eyes
Some private reflection time. Some very.
Has anyone got a knot now?
You might need to just raise your hand around.
Okay, I'm just going to gently pull. I've got 3 hands here. If I gently pull.
How long, Beth?
Okay, now I'm 39. So, now I'm going to
Is the
thread.
knot almost gone?
I'm going to
This
thread
knot
the
here.
end. I'm just threading it through. I'm just going to. Can someone put their hand there? No, there.
It's a very leading question.
Sorry, and then that has to go in that direction.
We bet you've said that
And
before.
keep-
It's not like it's being filmed.
I'll just find the wrap.
I'm still, I've got the other end here.
That needs to go away. That needs to go through something.
Right, now, that
Is
there,
that going through?
Oh, yeah, all through.
I'm pulling my hand through.
There you go. Someone got it.
Right, is that? Oh,
Now, if I was to
there
pull
should
that,
be an end. Yeah, I think whoever that man is, when you
Yes.
pull it, you're going to get an end.
yeah, I'll get my end up.
You've earned 3 bonus minutes.
Have we almost done it? Where's the
Hang
knot?
on, let me just keep pulling that till the end comes through.
Now we can get it straight.
I've lost you all. Where have you gone? Which way?
Hang on.
Step into the end.
Hang on, it's still, the end's still coming, just wait.
Oh, big, good party.
Has someone grabbed the end?
Yeah, someone did the end.
They got the end.
Has anyone got the in?
I've got
Can everyone try and grab a piece of rope? And see if we can find any.
2 minutes,
There's a knot.
22 seconds.
We have a knot. Alright, you guys on to it. Ready? Do we only have?
I'm holding two
Anything like that?
How's that angle? It's a bit floppy at the top. It's a bit floppy. How's it? Presuming that's a good angle. Like that. Oh, right. Is that? Yeah. You can't help that. That's the I think I'm pretty steady. I'm pretty steady. I'll help out. Give this as a task tomorrow morning.
So we asked the observers to watch carefully, and there was lots of side discussion. So they are now going to share. So if it was my students, I would tell my students we're doing a blindfold activity. If you're not comfortable being blindfolded, you are an observer. Or if there's a student who's sick or whatever, always observing.
Okay, so we observed that there are a couple of ringleaders in the group, which is really good. So lots of very vocal, I'm not sure what your name is. You guys are sort of the ringleaders of the group, lots of communication happening. There was lots of trust in the group because everyone kept their eyes shut. Even there's a big bunch of people here that actually didn't get the rope for a very, very long time, but at least, you know, it's great. There's a couple of guys having conversations with their eyes closed. Still following the rules of the game, which was fabulous. At the beginning, I'm not sure what your name is. Simon yelled out, can someone, we need a leader of the group. So that was really good. There was already somebody thinking tactically how we're going to do this. Anyone else want to share their observations?
I like you guys. You just kept
People have just been passive and being involved. What was awesome that everyone actually was involved. So people had different times of being passive and waiting for instructions, but at the end, everyone became involved. At some point, they all contributed.
It seems like people were involved with tactile sense first before they realised, oh, we can actually use our voice. And then that made communication so much better when they actually found out that somebody had moved where the rope were and actually put it over there. But the people who first came across it didn't tell everybody else. So, yeah.
I didn't say anything. I'm like the rope, man.
So once people started speaking, it became a lot clearer.
But also the group that worked near the rope, it's really good. There's started over here, look, is sort of saying, well, you're next to me and you're next to me on that side, and are we in a line? So almost being proactive. Yeah. We're being proactive. Well, we don't have the rope now. We're sort of in a line, and we sort of take towards the door, and that conversation is happening amongst those that word.
So again, I let this go to create that tension, and it always creates tension and lots of frustration, and everything that happens with adults happens with children. It's the exact same thing. So let's say at this point we are 4 classes into Adventure Challenge. We've already had the guiding question that has led the unit from the start. We've already unpacked the big ideas. I've made the big ideas, the ones you've mentioned, the most commonly mentioned answers I would have up on a visual that would serve as a provocation at the beginning of the next class. This is where we're at, this is what we've learned. We agree? And then give them that big challenge which you just did. So another strategy that I do for getting students to unpack the big ideas and do the heavy lifting is, you're going to see there's one poster there up on the wall, there's one poster there, there's one poster there, and there's one poster there. Now the questions on the poster are, can you go to that poster? And can you go to that poster? Can you go to that poster? Okay, so this, we've identified 4 main areas: listening, trust, communication, teamwork. The question here is, how do we know someone is a good listener? So it's not just listening now, how do we know they're a good listener?
In what ways do we show trust?
In what ways do we show trust?
How can we do a better job of communication?
How can we do a better job at communication? What does good teamwork look like? So now I would have my students, there's 40 of you. My class would be about 22, but my class would divide up into 4 groups. One would go there, one would go there, one would go there, one would go there. And then the students begin to brainstorm and write down answers to those key questions. So we started out with that one key question, we now have 4 that are breaking down the big idea. These ideas, trust, communication, listening, teamwork, are directly from my scope and sequence. They are learning outcomes that I have to get my students to be able to know and understand and demonstrate. But I didn't tell them anything. They figured it all out, and they're going to continue to unpack on their own. So what you're going to do now is you're going to divide up into 4 groups. There's markers at each station. You're going to have about 90 seconds to 2 minutes at each station. So when I say switch, you leave the marker there, we go clockwise to the next, and you add ideas. Add more ideas. When you get to the last poster, you may not have any more ideas because there's so many ideas up there already. So I'm going to give you 22 seconds to form 4 groups, equal groups at each station. And begin.
Might just fresh that there. So.
Oh, okay. Thought it was from Melina.
Anything else? Good.
Maybe not talking while, like not talking over somebody else.
You say respect?
Yep. What about when they actually do what was said?
So, understanding what they said?
Maybe they can
The interpretation of
acknowledging with a nod.
Acknowledging.
Yeah.
Just did it then. Yes.
Acknowledging through action, or?
Yeah. Maybe through action and asking questions, like further.
Is that clarifying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clarifying?
Oh.
Right, there you go.
keep responding.
Yeah,
Somebody can just not, because if they respond, they should be right.
and accept. Accept changes.
It's like to say you're right.
Okay, switch. Stop staring at me. Stop.
That's support encouragement.
Yes.
And what about patience? Just waiting your turn. I-E-C.
That's switch. Last time. Okay, stop. Everybody come on back in here. So again, what I've done here is that the students are doing the unpacking. So now, if it's done neat enough where you can see the ideas, then I will use the student posters for the rest of the unit. So now those posters stay up for the rest of the unit. And they are clearly outlining the important student learning outcomes and unpacking those outcomes. Or I can have a journal, 2 pages, question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4. Each student would have this, and then they would unpack during the unit and give them time. So I just wanted to show you 2 different ways. The last thing that I want to show you is the idea of goal setting. So not only are we unpacking the big ideas, this is what I would have the students do. So you're going to do a gallery walk now. And you're going to walk and you're going to look at all of the answers. 2 minutes only. And then I want you to begin to think about when you were a student, looking back in time. And begin to gravitate towards one of the posters that would have challenged you the most. Was it listening? Was it communication? Was it trust? Or was it teamwork? So in about between 2 to 3 minutes, people will be, the poster you ultimately stand in front would be the area that gave you most difficulty when you were a student. And this is a strategy that I use for getting kids to identify goals. So that whatever you're standing in front of, that will become your goal for the rest of the unit, and all written reflection will relate to that goal. Great evidence for me to have. They identify the goal. They're going to know what they struggle with. And then
they begin to do written reflections. So 2-minute gallery walk and begin to gravitate towards an area that would challenge you.
Are they in the Google Drive Dreams?
They will be.
Good.
After tonight. Good. Yes.
Good.
I would have been yours.
One.
Comments here? Any comments? Anybody there? Send us a tweet if you're listening.
Okay, 1 more minute. Okay, move to your poster now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now I would have reflection sheets. We're halfway through the unit. You've identified a goal. Now all of your reflections for the rest of the unit will be related specifically to that goal. And you have guidelines right there. You have strategies that the students have created that will help lead you through the unit and give you ideas and things that you can work on. So I wanted to give you a glimpse into what that would look like. I do it all the time in my program. Getting kids to identify goals, but also they're unpacking at the same time, so multiple purposes. Okay, I need you to come back here in front, right in front here. So I'm just going to go through this quickly, just to give you a glimpse of what the visuals look like. So if you're just moving right over here, so you can see. Halfway through our moving composition unit, the key question: how can we improve upon our moving composition routines? No ideas yet. Students begin to unpack. They come up with these ideas. So this is in preparation of the final routine. Ask for feedback, memorize our parts, better our timing, put more energy and effort into it. That's not enough. So now we are going to unpack each one just like you did. So through questioning, how can we give good feedback? Feedback is a part of everything we do in PE, in my program. So it's easy for students to come up with these ideas. So I create a checklist, student ideas. Sometimes I have to help them word their idea, but I create the visual, not on the spot during my prep time. From my journals, from sticky notes, whatever it is, from unpacking like this. So there, that's feedback. Then the next class, maybe we're going to work on this. How can we best memorize our parts? Practice with a purpose. Don't just practice randomly. Practice with a purpose. Practice in chunks instead of the whole way. So again, student ideas. Why is putting more energy and effort into our routines important? Student ideas again. How can we improve upon our timing? Student ideas. So now, over several classes, we've unpacked these ideas. They've been made explicit and visual. Okay, again, just a different way that I've done it. How can we ensure success in the moving composition unit? This was a different year that I did this, but again, unpacking the student answer. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a glimpse into what that looks like in my program, regardless if it's invasion games or adventure challenge or target games or net wall games. I always get them to unpack, and I've shared some strategies now.
We're going to see if this transitions really well. So what Ian's sort of done is set the kids up for success. And as teachers, we need that to happen. We need that to happen because we want the kids to walk away with a great experience. Now, success can mean failure at the same time, because sometimes we've got to take kids into a dark place to be able to draw them out and make them realise how change can happen. So here in Victoria, and those that may be from interstate with us as well, we've got to connect to our state curriculum. Now, moving forward out of Ausdale into the Victorian curriculum, it's using all these great ideas and then having a look at our leading questions in the curriculum, our guiding questions, and trying to understand that elaboration. So really digging deep. What does it say? Where does it fit? What this part of the lesson now is, it's going to take all of those great ideas and challenge you to move into myself, at the moment, I've just finished the net wall unit, so that's going to be our focus today, to try and give you that real connection between setting the kids up for success, understanding themselves, and then building through those ideas. So we're going to throw a lot of information at you, and already have, and then take away as much as you can or as little as you can, knowing that you'll be successful at it. So the great part of success, it starts with us in planning. One of the key messages Andy said today was all about planning and preparation in his keynote. And I know that you made that connection with my picture up there on the keynote. And my personal life and my professional life are exactly the same. It goes down to how much detail you want to put into things is the success that you'll get out of it. If you're happy with a little bit of success, your lesson plans will be empty, and you'll get that success that you're after. But if you're wanting to push those kids to the end point, to reach and make sure the differentiation hits in, then your planning needs to be extensive. Now, what I do with my planning, and this might be totally different to everyone here, we might all plan 60 different ways. I try and identify with myself that I have a clear understanding of what's about to happen. I'll then give myself a unit goal. So as a teacher, I know my kids, and I've been in my school for 15 years, so I've taught them right through. And so I know pretty much where every one of them are up to, and the 20 different ways that they're up to in the class. So as a unit goal, I've got to try and encompass that 20 different ways into 1 or 2 goals that can move us as a starting point. Because we're not sure where that starting point is, we're going to be all over the place again. The learning intention success criteria, I'm going to bang on about that through today and really show you how the kids can bring in those learning intentions and own the lesson. If the kids truly own the lesson, then the outcomes are easy and the assessment success of it is really easy. We then go into the Ausdales, which is now Victorian curriculum, and then go into the lesson content. Now, I have another PA teacher at my school, but we also work in a small little network. You might have noticed by the Aussie Phys Ed shirts, there's probably a group of 10, 15 of us now trying to work together with Google Drive and trying to actually share curriculum plans. And what comes next in that plan is the actual artistic flair. And the artistic flair is different from school to school because the student clientele are completely different. They're different from class to class. My teaching partner at school, he and I, on this unit plan, have 2 separate sides. And those 2 separate sides are completely different because he has a passion one way and his students are driving it one way, and I have a passion a completely different way. And we can have the same year level working and have 2 totally different outcomes to that lesson, one being successful and one being one of those ones we hear out all the time and you just go, oh my God, was that me or was that the kids not getting it? I guess on that too, if I ever pull my hair out, I look back. One of the best things I did through the year was use the Clickers cards. And I know I'm not here to talk about Clickers, but what the Clickers cards did for me was change the way I spoke to the kids. And what I found is I spoke very wordly and technical. And when I started asking the kids for that feedback, I found that actually they didn't understand what I was talking about. So that whole physical literacy was too complicated for the kids. So we broke all that down and we threw it back to the kids and said, how do you want me to talk to you? And we did exactly this. We had the big book open and they scribbled. Now that looks like a lot of maths, but when you intersect it, you go back, you all of a sudden understand that the language the kids are at. The leading question in this was, what do we know about teamwork? Now this came from a grade 4 class, which ended up being probably half the boys in tears because it became an absolute war in the game that we were playing and it upset them. So the next class we sat down and we started to unpack what teamwork really meant to the kids. But it had to start with what they knew. And then what we then did is we went backwards and had to try and dissect that as to what they didn't know, and then try and sprinkle that in. So that's where I'm talking about this preparation is massive. And it's something that I'll spend a whole week, 2 weeks working on one unit plan to make sure that I have it the way I need it, but also then working with those kids so it's a live thing and working backwards and forwards, and really trying to connect it. All right, so we're going to work on an activity in a minute. Mr. Andy, you're going to do this one.
Okay, so very quickly, you're going to line up shoulder to shoulder. Okay, we'll say across this orange line right here, shoulder to shoulder. Years of experience teaching, you're not allowed to talk. So if you're a newbie, you'll be down at this end. If you're a 47-year veteran, you're down on that end, shoulder to shoulder. Go. You got 1 minute.
Happy for it in one spot. Those bicep burn.
Here, turn around, face this way.
Chuck it over here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Chuck it over here. Then it'll get the whole. I can still feel the burn, mate.
Yeah, we're going to quickly get you to say your number now.
Promote it.
Look at this group.
And 30. I'm sorry, 33.
How many? 57.
And just come back out and see if you need to take your pen. You don't have one, grab one. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. You're going to sit in a huddle with your group. Just make sure you've got the text and there's not the text around the room. Just give a test run. Make sure it doesn't watch it. Make sure you come back over this way, guys. All right, so if you don't know each other, make sure you know each other, because that is your team for the rest. Now, what we're going to do, one of our leading questions at the beginning of this term with our netball units was simply this: what do you know about unit game? Now, I knew what I wanted to do, and they thought they knew better. But once they got into a group, some of this, the concepts they knew were debated and actually thrown out whether they went down there or not. So, in great game show fashion, you have 60 seconds. Don't worry about the yellow sticky note. So write on your piece of paper everything your group knows about net games. Ready? Go! We are on 30 seconds start. Two, one, and stop there. So
when I present these ideas to different schools, I always get at least one or two teachers, and I present outside of PE as well, but one or two teachers that will say, especially in PE, I can't do that. It's taking too much time away from activity with the kids. And I'm here to kind of remind the teachers that there is sound pedagogical justification for slowing the class down. It's not 15 minutes. These things can happen quickly, but it's important to be extremely organized so that it can happen quickly. So I just wanted to mention that. I know some teachers might think that this is a lot of sit time and write time, but it's really not when you look at the whole class and how you structure it.
Absolutely. It's probably, that's a really important thing that Andy and I spoke about this a few months ago. What was the idea of physical education and the suggestion that you always I've only got 45 minutes, so I've got to run through. Now, we break it down and think, okay, what am I teaching? Physical education. And you're trying to give the kids that idea of doing anything that goes through it. Not so much the sports side of it, to the byproduct. And if they can think, well, they can perform better. And you're into school sport when you get to grade 5, 6s, is the byproduct of sensation and education from prep through to that practice. Very significant. Yeah, awesome. So this is the same thing. So what you guys need to do is have a chat backwards to the primary school. I know that there are people that are transitioning in secondary schools and primary schools, and they talk together. So I guarantee you, I will talk on that. What if we planted a seed and we had physical education staff talk to the physical education staff and have a real true idea of where the kids are coming from, where the kids are going to, and you marry it with your class, kind of, in the state system, from prep through to year 12 in that local environment. All of a sudden, the kids are not going to be disadvantaged. This is what it is. That grade 6 to year 7, the kids get disadvantaged through the teachers actually not communicating forward and communicating backwards. So there's a bit of a seed there with those primary secondaries. Alright, so what do I want you to do for this going to 30 seconds? Have a bit of a walk around. At the end of 30 seconds, if you see something that's not on your page, you love it, you have You're about 20 seconds to go. At least one or two ideas you might have stolen from someone else. Fine. And back to your group, guys. Write those ideas so they don't slip from your head.
Yeah, so I'm saying this is
All right, so looking at your pages.
Okay, so this was a grade 5 driving question that I used. What do you know about net gains? I've shown some videos, gave them an exploration, and then they did something like this. Now, you are all teachers, so you wrote your ideas down, but if you look at that, are any of those answers, or roughly those answers, on your paper right now? Just raise your hand if you see any connection between these answers up here and what you have on the paper. Yeah? Okay, so again, just to illustrate the point that students can figure these things out. And these secondary teachers, this is great for secondary because you can really get the secondary students digging deep into what's important. Okay?
Yeah, and sorry, I was just trying to find, Andy and I did a unit on engagement. What we found is when we unpacked it and we came to the same result, the messages were very similar. The kids think the same way. It was the same age group, and we had the same leading question. So we'll talk a little bit about how we connect that lesson. Today, I know we're actually, we could have gone for 2 hours, I reckon. But, so we're going to use a game called nitro ball. Anyone familiar with nitro ball? Fantastic. This is awesome. Okay, so nitro ball. Okay, I'm just going to get you to have a look at that picture. What we're going to do is you're going to fold that piece of paper away so you can get back to it. I want you to have sorry, I'm just going back a couple of seconds. Put the paper over. Okay, I want you to have a look at the picture. All I want you to do is we're going to end this session next with barrier provocation. This is something I learned from you. And it's setting the kids up for success. Give them a picture or a video to make them connect with what they're doing. The visual learners still won't understand even if you break it right down into that language. So have a look at that picture. Have a look at the balls over here. And on the back of the page, just write 2 or 3 points of what you think this game is about. Okay, and then we'll be able to move on and get into a real small little activity and go with this. All right, so we've got, again, probably 30 seconds, I reckon. Have a look at the picture. Think about being familiar with the equipment.
Yeah, like sitting. Yeah,
And it's still there. And you've got one idea. Here's the other one idea. That's cool. Okay, and you've got 2 ideas. End up you had 1 idea. End up you had 2. Yep, that's okay. End up you got no idea. Absolutely 0. Good, so we've got a starting point. Okay, so what I love to do is I don't teach traditional sports. I try and mix it up with stuff like this on catalog, or see on YouTube, find it and do perfect, and actually make it fit in. So what we're going to do is we're going to break into our small teams. So groups of 4. We'll probably have to go, I think I've got 10 here. I've got 10 balls over here. I want you to break into a group of 4. And for 5 minutes, I want you to play a game that you're actually making the rules up. You're believing it's following that same idea based on the values of what you have on the other side of your net gains. Okay? 5 minutes starts now. So let's spread out. Take your page with you. Come on, more people. Take your page with you. That's your mat.
Yeah, I was skipping a heartbeat. You were thinking, I might stand here.
see mates who break their hands, both, reading jobs, for the field program, kids getting older, and maybe going to Hawaii. A world championship is something really hard to do. Come back. Bring the ball back, bring your nut back. All right, so we know as Victorians that we should be setting ourselves up sensory learning intentions. Hands up if you learning intentions with their class. Good. So that drives the kids to success. Now, the learning intent comes out of those mind maps. We're skipping forward probably a few hurdles here, but these are what my kids came up with. The three concepts of the net ball sport: to rally with the opposition, to outwit the opposition, and to score. And so for the last 7 to 8 weeks, I've been using netball games, and we've played. This is how much we've got diversity. We've played speed. Who was it speed this morning? Noah? We played spike ball. Who's heard of spike ball? Yeah. If you haven't, Google it. We've played nitro ball, and I think they were the only 3. And we started to interlink it right through. And the last couple of lessons, I really want to open up and almost like a great well-bred sprinter. I wanted the kids to show me what they were coming out of. So they knew that we drove the lesson with those 3. But all of a sudden I just opened up the shed and I said, these are your 3 learning intentions. You show me today what you're doing. And they needed to create a game. They needed to make sure that the game, they were able to rally, they were able to outwit, and they were able to score. And you can see those 3 are set up in that order. The rally was the very first one, because if we came out, Sarah and I came out, and all of a sudden we wanted to do the first one first, I'm going to be down that ball as hard as I possibly can, because I don't want to forget it. But we've got to get into the kids' heads that part of the netball sport is you've got an opposition. And it is sometimes great to be able to rally back and forth. It may not be about our wit or score. It's about trying to control. So it brings in the fundamental motor skill. That's what I love about game sense, because we're making sure that grade 1, 2 stuff and grade 3 stuff has been done well. If that's been done well, game sense is going to really kick off. If we as primary teachers do it well, our secondary teachers are going to go, damn, these kids are easy. But secondary teachers, I guarantee you know where the kids without skills come from, because maybe, I'm not saying, maybe they don't have a sports program, or maybe they haven't used physical education program. Because they're at that age where skills are being developed, sometimes programs happen. So learning intention is huge, and that comes from drawing that out. So we spoke about the 3 leading questions, and that was mine. This is what the kids are assessed on. This is what their success criteria is about. 23, 24, I think it's past about 29. 3, 4, 5, 6s set their own success criteria. I can, by the end of this unit, I can, blah, 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 I can, blah, 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 I can, blah, 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 blah. And we set up the rubrics around that. It's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, there are some days I go home and want to sleep at 5 o'clock because the lessons are absolutely rocked. And it's rewarding, but it is hard work. And I guess that's that big thing going back to being prepared. The more you do earlier, the more you're going to succeed later. So the 3 learning questions, 3 learning intentions, coming back to that every single time. I was just speaking to Sarah with your name. So we spoke about a gymnasium and being able to have a nice big TV and stuff like that. Even if you don't have that, who has a wheelie bin in their school? Like good sports equipment, or even a rubbish bin, or even, I don't know, like something with 3 sides. All of a sudden, you can have plastic pockets on those, and you learn the teaching some questions can go in that side. There's a teacher showed me that one about 4 years ago when I was talking about the gym. He said, hey, how do you do it? But I've got a wheelie bin. That wheelie bin was his intent program, so sliding those kids. Did that one? We're getting time. So what we're going to do this time is, in fact, I'm going to share with you before, so you're not totally confused as to what nitro ball is all about. When I watched you and you went off into your groups, we played just like the boys do. We talked, we made up our own games, we came children together, which was really cool. We had the laughs, and there was a little bit of competition, a little bit of banter going back and forth. Nitro ball, when I played the provocation video, you would have really connected with it. It's a game of upside down volleyball, and it's set up directly for this. A couple of teachers over in America have created it. And what they found is that kids, and we know kids cannot play volleyball, and probably one of the most difficult things is big because balls coming out from that speed in the air, all of a sudden having to throw their hands up, ball straight up in the air. If we haven't prepared them with the skills, there's no hope, so they lose faith in it. So nitro ball, every time that ball comes over, it must hit the ground first and bounce, so it stops the play. It slows the play. So this time when you go back, find the line, make that good court, two people on one side, two people on the other. Play a game of volleyball, but the ball has to hit the ground first before you can hit it up to your partner, set it, dig it, or spike it over. Okay? And then once you bring it to score, so you rally, now I want you out with, and I want you to score. We're going to do it for about 4 minutes. Go.
Now, we met on Twitter, probably like you guys, and then we realised with year 9, he's like my older brother. So we call each other stepbrothers, like the girl, because he does Ironman, he's a region coordinator, he's a physio teacher, he's just coming to bed. So I can ask myself, when he's on the track, what mistakes am I going to make in this track? We met on Twitter, and then he walked into School Sports Victoria for a meeting, and we were just like, and then that's just where it was lining up, like it's gone roster, bang. It's just,
Like I said, it was my academy personally. I just thought he was a little guy.
One side.
I thought he was like 5'7".
Yeah.
I was compared to look down into his eyes and say,
That's great.
the first thing I did, he thought that I was taller. Okay, that's okay, right? See you, buddy.
Oh, well placed. So you can put all this together.
You've got a pen, grab a pen. If you don't have a pen, grab one of my pens. Beautiful. These are a good bunch. Alright, so what we have here, we were going to introduce these earlier, we just got carried away. But these are our project nests. So what you might have sport folios. I know my grade 5, 6 and do sport folios, so they'll have their iPads and I'll collect stuff in. It's a way of being able to collect your thoughts and your ideas and be able to reflect on your journey. This is something Andy uses a lot. We're going to let you explain this.
I will use this in the workshops. So when I lead workshops, teachers of 2 or 3 day workshops, teachers will have a big poster. And then any ideas that resonate, because again, different people will have different ideas that resonate. So at any time during the workshop, they don't have to ask or if it's a discussion, they can just walk over and write their ideas down while it's in their head. So for you, this is for any big ideas that resonated with you in this session. So you're going to come write your name up here and then just brainstorm. We'll give you about 5 minutes to write your takeaway ideas down here. 3 minutes. And then go.
Put your name on it. This is your takeaway.
More over here, guys.
You want to take off the wall.
Here, down here. Come down here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Take a photo.
So let's take it off.
One.
You want one of these, eh?
Nitro ball, spike ball, and speed mixing. We've got a flat tire in the corner. One minute. We apologize for the all know things in the right level.
Where are you going next?
I'll come back to that. Yeah.
I'll grab that one.
Yes. All right, beautiful. Grab your project list and just come back and gather. Thanks, man. Fantastic. All right, so tell you what, an hour and a half has gone like that. No.
It was almost some gum trick.
Almost. What we would do then as teachers at a full-day conference, we would go a bit slower again, really go a lot of time. Those projects you do share and care, get some ideas from other people, get some email addresses down. Everyone needs a buddy. And I spoke about this, I ran a network TV down in Geelong on Monday. And he said if you're a lone ranger, your job by the end of the actual conference is to find a buddy. Whether it be on social media, whether it be someone you're sitting next to, whether it be taking a business card and contacting someone at a later date. Because it helps with your learning. Right, so the last thing is, for me, at the conclusion of my class, how do my kids leave? Do they get up, take off? Sometimes they have, because you do run out of time. This doesn't happen every single class, but I'm probably hitting about 3/4 of my classes a week because things happen. So when we exit, one of the last things we do, maybe a challenge activity, so to tie it all in for the day. One of the big things I do is I take a question, I hand it to 3 students. They sit in a group, they hold the question, they ask the question and answer the question. or they ask the question and someone else answers the question. So they all get a voice. Questions are quite simple. What are you doing differently from last week? Who did you play with today? What skills are you working on? Tell me about the best part of your PE club. Can you teach me something you've learned today? So there are things to make the kids really connect with what they've done. The very last one is something that we adapted from an idea that Sean here spoke to us on. We ran a podcast. We ran a podcast last week, and it was really cool, innovative stuff that you have in your class. And Sean spoke to us about using the tap out system, and basically what it was it had a list of values that the students identified and they knew. So this is not a one-off, this is a sequential base, so the kids understood it. And what the kids did at the end of the day, before leaving the gym, they went and tapped on the page that they thought that they worked at. So we gave them one last chance to go, that's where I was today. These ones are set up as to do with learning intentions. We then also, Aaron and I went ahead and made some, also Aaron, we went ahead and made some more which were around values. So all of those tonight will be downloadable for free on A2FZ. So yeah, grab them as much as you can. The very last one that I do with my little kids, and I love this one, because we appreciate that kids will see a Mutant Ninja Turtle and they'll have a favourite, but it doesn't sometimes the next class. So my little kids, I get them a stamp of paint. So I give them 3 questions. I was awesome, I was great, I found stuff difficult. And they'll line up, this will be on a whiteboard, they'll line up, I'll stamp where they were for the day, I'll stand there and have a look, and anyone that might come right down low, I'll just have a little sneak discussion with and reflect on that. So some real simple ways for the kids to exit, but very important ways for the kids to exit because they think before they leave, so you can reconnect back in. That's it. Thank you very much for your attendance today, guys. And I know we've thrown a lot of stuff at you. Free website, A2FZ. PYP with Andy is Andy Vasily. He's now had to go to another session, live session. And my own personal one, Mr. FZ. So you can catch either of us on all of those, or just email AFCA and they'll give them out as well. So thank you very much today for your attendance, and we wish you well. If you feel like doing an evaluation, take one and drop it back later on. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go for your life. No, that's the
I've got to rush off. I've got a session now.
Yep, perfect.
But I'm gonna. Yeah. Yeah, I had one this morning. One now. No, all good. What's your email address?
Just Mr. Here.
Yeah.
Gmail.
Oh, awesome. I'll do
There's
that.
actually a business card in that little tub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Jenny
Where are you based?
I'm happy to say. I'll come before the break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Fantastic. Thanks very much. Thank you very much.
Does anyone want to set a print of the man? Didn't give them to anyone.
Sure.
You can have a set.
Thanks very much.
Either either.
All right. Yeah. So excellent.
That works more.
Yeah. So we've been connected.
Yeah. I love one, yeah. I said that because more with you.
Hey guys, if you need a business card, no worries.
Oh, yes.
If you want to contact me at all, there's a business card sitting.
Yeah, yep. Yeah.
Which is another awesome, and for youth waves before they go out, not just I'm going to canteen.
Yeah, no. My kids have. Look, you've got to set it up right. You've got to really get that.
Yeah.